Promising to rebuild, French officials taking the next steps to start restoring the devastated Notre Dame Cathedral.
An epidemic on the rise. Berrien County officials now working to cut down on an uptick of deadly overdoses.
And check before you fill up. Coloma Township Police investigating after utility knife blades were found hidden at a gas station pump.
First, fast, accurate. You're watching WSBT 22 First in the Morning with Bob Montgomery and Leanne Tokars.
We'll get to those stories in a moment, but first to your weather this morning, because take a look at these temperatures. We're starting out in the 50s around the area.
Yeah, really pleasant this morning, but meteorologist Carrie Peugeot is tracking not only the chance of a few isolated showers. Carrie, this time tomorrow morning could be a very different picture.
Yeah, tomorrow morning you're going to wake up. It's going to be a loud morning. We're tracking thunder and lightning and some really heavy rain for tomorrow. Ahead of that really active pattern, we're still going to get a couple of showers today, but it's not going to be something that you have to really plan around. It's just something, it's kind of annoying, just a little bit like yesterday. We had a couple of showers, but most of the day was dry. Right now, we have dry conditions. We have cloudy skies, but we do have dry conditions. So most of the morning commute is really going to be mostly just those clouds. But if you look just off to our west and you have to cross over Illinois to get to some of the rain showers, there are some light rain showers. Very scattered, very light, not a lot of measurable water out of that, a lot of sprinkles. That's something that we're going to be tracking into our area as we get into later this morning and closer to lunchtime. In the meantime, we can enjoy some pretty decent temperatures. It's cloudy, and so the clouds are like a nice little blanket, and so we're starting out about 5 to 10 degrees warmer than even yesterday in the low to mid 50s. 53 in South Bend and Niles, 52 in Plymouth. We have a few 40s coming in, but not very many. We're right at 50 degrees in LaPorte, 52 in Kingsbury, and 47 in Middlebury, which is still starting out pretty nice. We end up in the 70s, but for the morning drive and the commute, looking pretty dreary. We have mostly cloudy skies and temperatures getting into those upper 50s by 9 o'clock. Again, a scattered shower is possible, but not much. Most of it's going to be around lunchtime and into the afternoon. But by the time we get into this evening, if you're out for a walk or a jog this evening, look at this. We're going to be near 70 degrees late today. We will be tracking a few showers still around 3, but for the evening hours, we're looking at a little pocket of clearing before we get to tomorrow's storms. We're going to time out all those rain showers for today. That's coming up in about 10 minutes.
Carrie, thank you. Now to a live look in Paris. You're looking at what's left of the historic Notre Dame Cathedral. This morning, crews are investigating the extent of damages inside the structure after Monday's massive fire. French President Emmanuel Macron is promising to rebuild the cathedral, and in just 5 years.
That's a task, however, experts say will likely take far longer to complete. Notre Dame's two medieval bell towers are still intact, and the stained glass rose windows appear mostly unscathed. Officials, though, say it's going to be at least another day before scaffolding is stabilized and the debris from the flames can start to be cleared away. French authorities say this fire likely is an accident, possibly related to restoration work that was already underway on the centuries-old church. And Leanne, the University of Notre Dame is now stepping up to help restore this historic cathedral.
Bob, the two don't share any direct connection, but that changed yesterday when the university announced it would be making a $100,000 donation to help rebuild the cathedral. With the college's contribution, the fundraising effort to rebuild the cathedral is nearing the $1 billion mark. Yesterday afternoon, the university basilica tolled its bells in recognition of this tragedy in Paris.
It's ironic in a lot of ways. It's also in some ways sad that it happened during Holy Week. And yet on the other hand, I think from what I've understood, it's been a real inspiration for many people as well. And it has led to some of the great support that the people in Paris have felt.
Our coverage of the Notre Dame Cathedral fire continues all morning long. Coming up in just 10 minutes, why experts believe it will take near a decade to restore the cathedral to its original beauty.
6:34, and take a close look at your screen right now, because happening right now, there's a massive manhunt underway for this young woman. It's not believed she's in our area, but she has made threats just days before the 20th anniversary of the Columbine High School attack that killed 13 people. The FBI in Denver issuing a notice yesterday describing this 18-year-old as infatuated, obsessed with the deadly massacre at Columbine in 1999. She is believed to have traveled to Colorado this week. The FBI says she should be considered armed and dangerous, and all Denver schools are closed today because of this credible threat.
A new drug ban overseas could help fight the opioid epidemic in the United States. China is now making fentanyl illegal in its country. Fentanyl is a man-made opioid that is extremely lethal. It's 50 to 100 times stronger than heroin. U.S. officials say it often finds its way into the U.S. through the Mexico border, but say it's often manufactured in China. According to the CDC, the spread of fentanyl in the U.S. over the last 5 years has resulted in record number of overdoses. In 2017, more than 28,000 people lost their lives to a fentanyl overdose. And Bob, the rise in overdoses is also being felt in Berrien County.
And Leanne, the county prosecutor there is saying it's likely linked to the amount of fentanyl in heroin. He says just in the past 2 weeks, there's been a spike in overdoses, many of them deadly. The prosecutor says the synthetic drugs are widespread. If you know someone struggling with addiction, officials are recommending seeking substance abuse treatment.
3 Berrien County fire departments could soon consolidate. According to our partners at WSJM, talks are underway to combine Baroda Township, Lake Township, and Bridgman fire departments. Baroda Township supervisor says sharing the resources could have benefits for everyone, including a larger support staff. He says the level of fire coverage for people in the area will not change. There will be at least 2 more meetings on the subject, but the decision will be left up to voters. Officials say the issue could appear on ballots during the November election.
Local police now warning you to check the gas pump handle before you fill your tank. This comes after utility knife blades were found hidden in gas pump handles in Berrien County. Coloma Township police say 2 of these blades were in a handle. There were another 6 on top of a pump. Police say the first blades may have been there for a few months and then fell out when a woman grabbed the handle. Now, she wasn't hurt. Authorities are now looking at surveillance footage to try to find a suspect.
New this morning, big changes coming to the Warsaw Times-Union. Starting tomorrow, the paper will begin partnering with the United States Postal Service to deliver newspapers. Times-Union says the move will not affect the timeliness of the news, but the papers will now be printed at midnight instead of noon. This means the daily paper will be included in your mail instead of being delivered by newspaper carriers. Times-Union says the move helps cut down on distribution costs. It is now 6:37. The French president is promising to rebuild the Notre Dame Cathedral after that massive fire.
But coming up, there's one reason why that task, if they make it exactly the way it was before, might be impossible for France. Plus,
an effort to encourage kids to read. I'm Bree Isom, and I'll tell you about Merritt Elementary's new program, Merit on a Mission, and how it's impacting students.
And this morning, we're starting out cloudy, but we're actually going to see some rain today. We'll be talking about chances of storms. That's coming up next.